into it, and I think we need to talk about the San Antonio Spurs. That's what Jackson texted us last.
Well, they ended up losing it over.
They did end up losing. And I still think though, them going three. I think they're 3-3 right now. I believe they're 3-3. And I don't know. I still feel like this Spurs team's way better because like I tried not to fall into the hype in the offseason. Like I said, like at best they're playing team. I said at best if everything falls in the right direction. And I honestly thought Vic was going to be like a 14, 15 points per game score to start. And I know we're only a handful of games into several games into the season. Stats really don't equate to anything right now. It's not like it's going to be what they're going to average at the end of the year. But what's your main takeaway? I mean, they're writing right now. Keldon Johnson and Zach Collins are their two leading assisters in their starting lineup. Their leading assister is Trey Jones, but he's playing six-man because their starting lineup Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Vassell, and Victor Wembanyama, and Zach Collins. So
Yeah.
it's an interest. They're running Jetty Osman, and then that's basically it off the bench with a little bit of Doug McDermott. They're running like an 8-man rotation, unless you want to include Malachi Bronnan's like terribleness.
Wow.
He's not been terrible, but he can't hit. He can't hit the right side of a barn so far this season.
True. Yeah, Victor Wembanyama is averaging 20. It's crazy. He's averaging 20 and a half, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal and a half, and almost 3 blocks a game while shooting 49%. He's going to shoot 30. He's shooting 31% from downtown.
I think that's what's going to stick out, dude. I think he's going to be like.
You think he's going to stick at that for the season or his career?
For this season. I think he's going to be like at best like 33, 34. Like I think he's going to be like.
I mean, that's
just below average. Just below average. And I think that's because a combination of shot selection and getting used to the NBA 3-point line.
I mean, 33, 34, we're talking a couple of points there. That'd be nice. I think
FIBA 3-point line's like 3 feet shorter.
Oh, yeah. I noticed that too. I think we talked about after their last Suns win that it's not as if he's like forcing anything, like because you can't block him and he's always wide open, but letting the game come to him, slowing it down, adjusting to the speed, because you see flashes of it where he'll, find a cutter or something like that. So, I mean, they ended up losing. I sent that text before they ended up losing that game, but I think they're, a playing team, but nonetheless. Victor Wembanyama is must-watch basketball. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I definitely, you can see that the team's already deferring to him in late game situations, which is like incredibly rare for a rookie. Where like I think it was either Keldon Johnson or Devin Vassell, who like one of the last shots of the game to to keep him in the game. I think it was like 120 to 116, and Vic I think twice got the last shots, and it's really really fascinating to see that it's not Keldon taking that last shot, even though like I understand everyone's like, well, it's fucking Victor Wembanyama, like you want to take the last shot, but like Keldon's been here for a minute, like you'd think he'd be the one to say like, look, I'm in year 6, like that's my shot. So I think it's really cool that like you're seeing like the vets and like the guys who are part of this culture for several years. Or you're saying, yeah, like Vic, like you take that last shot, you take the shot to get us back in this game. Like we'll give it to you, even though I'm making $20 million a year. I think that's really impressive.
I think Keldon, Vassell shooting 54%, 41 from downtown.
Yeah, 19.5.
Yeah, I mean, how that's it's crazy. He's in year 4. These guys feel ahead of. These guys feel older. Those two feel older, younger than they are. I think Keldon's back to his, 17, 18 points per game that he was before they were the worst team in the NBA last year. I think Vassell's number 2. I mean, Vassell watching and Keldon. I like watching Keldon too. He's a good bucket, but Devin Vassell is badass. He's one badass dude.
No, I agree, Devin Vassell. And one thing that caught me by surprise is Keldon Johnson actually facilitating more than Devin Vassell. When I initially thought when they were going to run this lineup, which is like one of the lineups that I predicted in all my personal channels when I did the season preview and predictions for the Spurs, they said I would really like for them to run a bit of the Sell, Calvin Johnson backcourt with Jeremy Sohan, and just because of the size that gives you. And I thought personally that the guys who would be the primary ball handler, Vassell, would have been Calvin Johnson when that lineup's on the floor, and then they run a lot of elbow action with Zach Collins and dribble handoffs with Zach Collins, because Zach Collins literally has 4.7 assists